Hey guys, today we're doing a spooky, sexy, scary, spooky stream. I saw this really crazy video. Let's just move myself over here. Look at that. My husband thinks the government isn't real. It kind of harkens back to that expression, I don't believe in being lazy. Well, it exists. It exists in many different ways. Can I just start out the video? I just want to show I have a better mic now. You see this? Little puffball. I decided to go for lav mic because the previous mic was a little heavy, a little cumbersome. Look at this bad hair day, by the way. I have curly hair, naturally. We tried to bring out its full body. I kind of screwed it up. I didn't have a vision for it. I just wanted to see what would happen with it. Didn't turn out too good, but could. Okay, on with the show. Come on. Hell yeah. My husband thinks
Brought to you by
the government
Zander Insurance.
isn't real.
Compare rates from top term life insurance companies in seconds at Zander.com.
Xander's a great guy. He insured me for something. For something I did. I broke something.
I have a bit of a conundrum.
Where's Dave? Where's Dave? I already saw the clip. I'm playing stupid.
I've taken over handling our finances from my husband. I just say he got into the sovereign citizen thing about 7 years ago. I asked him not to make.
She's going to succinctly describe a lot of the attributes of a sovereign citizen. All I'm going to do after she describes it is I'm going to add on a couple more tags.
Any decisions, but he did and didn't tell me.
Tell me what. Tell us about sovereign citizen thing.
To the best of your knowledge, what is it?
The best.
This just in. Grown adults are going to be learning about crazy people.
To my knowledge, is it's a group of people who don't believe that our government is actually a government, that when Congress let out in the early 1900s that the same people didn't come back in and they passed laws around our taxes and everything else, and that it's unconstitutional, and that when we were born, our Social Security number is used as collateral by the government, and so we have billions and billions and billions of dollars in an account somewhere, and our signature can pay off debt. Just our signature. That we don't have to pay back loans. We don't have to pay our mortgage. We don't have to pay anything.
True.
Cool.
So,
That's a fantastic idea.
Okay.
And you seem to know a lot about.
We got a couple of issues here, okay? First off, the tax that changed was prohibition. What they wanted to do is they wanted to, through so many movements that took over the place of America's whole lifespan, they wanted to stop people from drinking. They had people drinking, no joke, at work. They were drinking whiskey. They were drinking beer. They were working in the fields, dying early because they were dehydrated, and they're out in the sun. Like, these people were really sick people, if you think about it. And there were a brave group of people that went around, and now alcoholics are just like one in a family, as opposed to everyone being an alcoholic. So what does that mean? What does this long, stupid story mean? What the story means is that the federal government decided to start taxing the people as opposed to taking taxes from alcohol distributors. We'd always get more into this if you want to. The prohibition is such a rich piece of history that no one talks about. But that's roughly around the time area that these people would be talking about. Now, here's what is just so mental illness, just like willfully crazy. Okay? We love people with mental illnesses here. We don't like the criminally insane. We don't like the Joker. We don't like the Riddler. We like the Rizzler, not the Riddler. These people would absolutely have no way of verifying that a different group of people came in. They would have to be such perfect disguises or such disinterest in the whole matter to not prove that different people came into the House or Senate or whatever at that time, right? So this is just like an empty statement. This is like me saying, Pepsi was replaced with New Coke. You don't remember what Pepsi tastes like because you've only drank New Coke. And the fact that you like Pepsi, you're believing in a lie. And that's why I can shoplift. Anyways, it's all goofy. It's all cartoon stuff, right? And then there's this other component to this, okay? Because these people are too stupid to understand what Congress in the early 1900s would look like. So what they say is they have natural laws. And I know you're thinking, oh, I love John Locke. I'm going to John Locke down this philosophy right now so I can kickstart my traveling, not driving. Now, what they say is, well, God exists, and he imbued onto me natural rights. Okay, well, what are these natural rights? Well, I'm allowed to drive my car without the state jamming me up. So, long story short, these people think that God has used his powers to work not in the way of the Geneva Convention, because I'm quite sure that they would be against the globalist agenda of the Geneva Convention, but just so that they have like secret knowledge, secret rights, right? It's like this concept that we always talk about, DEI, for the criminally insane. That's what MAGA is. Quite frankly, that's what QAnon was. These people are like, oh, I know what's going on. Q messaged me, yada, yada, yada. I'm able to shoot someone from my weird church cult. It happened locally to me. Crazy story. So this cult, he wasn't a cult owner. He lived in a church, had this awful fence, disgusting. He spray painted it. It happened during COVID, real eyesore. So the city wanted to take down the fence because it was obstructing vision for drivers. It was making it hard for them to see and harder to make them turn. This freak, this absolute freak who believes in the same thing as sovereign citizen, he said that he was a sovereign citizen because he wrote Justin Trudeau. He wrote Justin Trudeau this letter saying, I'm a sovereign citizen. And because Justin Trudeau didn't auto-pen it all the way back to him, he said, oh, well, Justin Trudeau didn't fight me. I guess I am a sovereign citizen. Long story short, cops walk on his property. He shoots a cop. And now he's in prison. Hopefully he's rotting because, this guy is the worst form of brain rot ever. And he would hold these little sermons. And we actually got, what did we get? We actually got some Facebook posts. Maybe I'll go in on this a little more. We got a Facebook post about this guy's sermon. And this guy was out to lunch. And it was only breakfast. This guy got that jump start on being crazy. So regardless, these people have natural rights. They believe that the Congress was filled in with other people, right? And I wonder, and I would ask if any mega sovereign citizens would be okay with the electorate scam on January 6th. And I know January 6th is what every liberal points to. But it's the same idea. And if they're okay with the idea of Trump doing that, then why aren't they okay with whatever president, what was it, Teddy Roosevelt? Okay. Yeah, so Teddy, I want to say Taft. Yeah, I want to say Taft. Whoa. It was Wilson. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. 1321. Prohibition ended in 21? Or 33? I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Regardless, to say, these people are dangerous people. You don't want these people near you because they'll make up some excuse to do whatever they want. And I mean, there's no shortage of sovereign citizen video content online. It's almost like one of these cheap desires. There's a specific phrase that I'm thinking of, but it's almost one of these like unspoken videos that you watch and you just enjoy someone pushing the law and the law pushing back. No mentioning of Renee Good or Alex Preddy, please.
About this, like you've just heard your hubs weighing on and on and on about this, it sounds like.
Yeah, not just that, but in our arguments of me talking about being good stewards and having good character, and when we say we're going to pay something back and we sign it, that because we said it and we signed.
Guilty pleasure. Sorry, sovereign citizen videos, guilty pleasure. Love watching them. I love watching their justification. We all saw that guy who got stopped. He had the 2 kids in the back of his truck. I'm sorry. 2 kids in the back of the truck. He's driving. The wife's beside. He hands the officers a big envelope of paper full of like real paper. When asked for his license, he gets arrested. The punchline of the whole bit is the wife had a driver's license and she still didn't drive. Anyways, guilty pleasure. I love it.
Find it that we need to do it, and
Right. So this,
and he, yeah,
whew, so this has put you guys in a spot, I'm guessing.
extreme spot.
What? Tell us, what hole are you in?
Well, like I said, that's what he felt about the government, so he stopped paying our taxes.
Right.
He stopped paying our mortgage and our car loans, and we had a home loan that we got years ago, and he stopped paying all of it. So when I took over last year, and a couple of months in, one of the elders in my church gave me a number for a company to help me work on the back taxes. And so now I have that extra bill. And I'll just give you some numbers. Taxes are over $500,000, including all the fees.
My God.
Mortgage, they tried to close on the mortgage. They tried to foreclose twice. The sheriff showed up. And like I said, I didn't know about any of this.
Right.
I found out when the sheriff came and said, here's your foreclosure papers. You need to be in.
I always had this great idea for a commercial. It would be for an insurance company if I ever worked with one. Now, you have this giant ogre, this giant troll man with a club, and he walks, he talks like this. And then some guy walks out, right? And he's like, how can I help you, sir? They're right in front of the house. Me Helock. You order me Helock, and Helock be help you out. And it's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I did not order a giant troll. I didn't order an ogre to come over to my house. Home equity line of credit, HELOC. And and then the man sees what a great burden that he's taking on, and maybe HELOC hits him in the head with the club, and it'd be great for an insurance company because it'd be like, make sure you have insurance. So if a tragedy happens, you don't have to take out HELOC. Me HELOC. Good stuff. I love it. You know.
Court next week. And then I told my husband he needed to pay it, so he got us caught up. And then they repossessed my car. And so I told him he needed to pay it, and I got my car back. And then he didn't pay for another 7 months, and they came out with foreclosure papers again. And I told him, I said, I
hold on one
need to
second.
feel like I'm safe.
Yeah, this is interesting to me. So he's, forget the conspiracy stuff that he's all in and all this kind of stuff, but
I really want to get into the video. I just want to get this one point I mentioned in my last video, or the penultimate video. I only have 3 videos right now, I believe. Now, here's the situation, okay? She followed the fool. So, that in turns makes her a fool. Because she knew her husband was a fool. If she was going to follow the blind, then how would she not get lost? Jesus 3:16.
But he's holding the money. He's not spending it, it sounds like.
He did the first time. The second time, so he works for himself. And
Doing what?
We only. He's a contractor,
Building homes?
and he. No, it's commercial work, and it's very specialized, and he makes really good money.
Okay, so my point is like he's not spending this money. He just doesn't want to give it to the government or to the mortgage company or anything else. But it sounds like every time they come threatening, he goes out in the backyard, digs up a coffee can, and provides the money. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not really.
Well, you just said he paid it. He paid the car.
Yeah.
He paid
The first.
This is a good time to mention my new sponsor. If you want to save money, make sure that you invest in gold. And if you can't afford gold, get a jar of Folgers and bury it in the backyard. It's literally the best way to keep all your money. Putting it in a bank? What are you, stupid? Give me the money if you just want to waste it. Invest in gold today. Best Gold Standards, Inc.
First time.
Oh.
The first time he did that with the mortgage. The second time with the mortgage, we lucked out that he got paid a little extra that month, and so that went to pay
Hell yeah.
that back mortgage. And then with the car, I don't know what he did. I think he talked them into putting everything towards the end of the loan to get us caught up.
Oh gosh, so there's a
But
giant balloon payment at the end.
Yeah, but
So is he now getting
like I
out of
said-
the? Is he out of the finances and he's not doing any of this nonsense and he's now letting you pay things on time?
he's agreed to let me do it. He doesn't agree with me. And
Well, I don't care about that part. At
Have
least
you
he-
told?
How? You know, I don't even have the words for this phenomenon, so I'll just describe the phenomenon. Here we are. I put our family in a big hole. My wife knows the right answer, how to fix it. And I'm going to let her fix it. I'm going to let her save it, but I'm going to still save face by saying I'm an insane person. I just think that's so great. Now, here's something that we find in like a show in financial audit. In financial audit, you'll have someone overspend. You'll have one person overspend on, let's say, a TV, right? And then the other person in a relationship will use the TV, even though they said, do not buy this TV. Caleb will go like, well, you used the TV. It's like, Caleb, what am I going to do? Not use the TV while it's put up? That's insane. This person is not going to return the TV if I use or if I don't use the TV. Now, all that to say, that person benefits, and they might even benefit in like a morally nice way. This scumbag gets to benefit off the suffering of his wife. And he gets to benefit in just morals. Where this person gets to benefit, well, hey, you know what? We have the TV. It sucks. They were never going to listen to me. I put up a good fight, but I'm not going to stop watching TV. This person's like, hey, you know what? The government sucks. My wife sucks. My wife's stupid. I don't believe in anything she's doing, but at least I get to sleep in this beautiful bed today. This guy gets his cake, and he gets to eat it too. And it's a stupid cake. It's something terrible. What's a terrible cake? You know, a dry bundt cake. Chocolate, vanilla, whatever. It dry.
Told him that you prefer to not be
That's the cake
homeless,
he's
that
eating.
it's your American right
yes,
to want to have
yes, I
shelter.
have.
America
Okay, what does
doesn't
he think
exist,
about
dude.
that? This guy doesn't seem like he cares about providing for you. Seems like he's more into his
Well-
little conspiracy group.
Yeah, well, we said the same thing about, he says he doesn't care about money. And I said to him, so why don't you just give it to the people you said you'd give it to? Why are you keeping it?
Why would I keep my promises?
But he's not really keeping it either. He does like to spend, and we have no savings. But
Do you
with
guys
the
have
market
one
crash-
joint account, or does he have a separate account that he spends from?
Well, the state came after him and took money out of the account, about 25 grand, which was every penny that we had. So he changed banks. They did
How
it
do they do
again,
that?
so he changed banks
It's
again.
terrifying.
So what I did when I hired that company is he didn't like keeping receipts. So I found all of the banks that we had for those years, and I've been systematically going through the bank statements to itemize to send his company so we can at least have some kind of deductions on that. And I still have 3 years left to do of all of that, and I have no idea.
Have
what
you
the
pulled a
IRS
credit
thinks
report
yet.
for both of you?
Yes.
Okay,
I
what's
actually
the
did that
total
last week.
damage?
Total that we owe?
Yeah.
I don't know the total yet. I know we still owe about 170 on our home. Our home is valued now around between 500 and 600. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't had it done. We've been in our home for 20
Is it
years.
some
Okay.
faucet?
And you owe
I have-
500,000 to the IRS. And what about these
Yep.
cars?
There's about 50,000 on the cars. There's about 20,000 on a home loan. About 65,000 in student debt.
Credit cards?
We had no credit cards until a couple weeks ago. My dad told me that he pays his house bills with a credit card, and he just goes and he pays off the bill right then so that he can earn cash back. And so I thought that might be a good idea for me.
Okay, what do we think? You get rewards. You get rewards plans. That's good. But sometimes you have to pay an annual fee. Every credit card I've had, you have to pay some sort of annual fee. So,
One
It's
way
a
I can try to
terrible
help.
idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is anyone in your life financially responsible?
does not sound
Well,
like it.
my dad is. He has no.
No, he's
debt.
not. If you pay the mortgage with a credit card, you're incurring an extra fee, which negates any cash back you could ever want. So,
Okay.
Mary, I don't know that we can help you in a 2-minute call. This is a nightmare, and I'm scared you're going to go down with this guy, and you're both going to be in prison
Right.
if you keep this up.
Yeah, this is a marriage situation where you've got to put a stop to this with him. He's putting you in such a reckless situation.
At this point, you need to protect yourself.
Yes.
I would separate accounts. Are you working full time?
It's crazy.
I am not. I'm not able to.
It's crazy because they are Christians. And as we know, Christianity, a little bit patriarch, what's that word? Patriarchal. They practice in the patriarchy. You ever notice that? Sometimes people will pronounce the wrong word, or maybe even the wrong suffix of a word, because they can't pronounce the right suffix of the word. Okay, let's just think of one. Someone might say, okay, so you have, this is so stupid. Okay, you have someone who really loves eating food. They have to say racist. You know, the American system practices racist every single day, and you're thinking, why can't you just say racism? Well, guess what? They love food so much that every time that they say racism, they say racism. Little Homer Simpson energy given. I just really pooped the bed on what I was trying to say there. But if you think about it, maybe I'm not crazy, but you know what? I absolutely sound stupid in that sense. Let's get back to what we're doing.
Are you on
My-
disability?
No, I was a stay-at-home mom for 25 years.
All right,
And
tell
I
you
was
what.
working at my church last year.
Okay,
and
so Mary,
because
hang
of
on.
all of this, I lost my.
Mary, hang on. We got to do a quick commercial break. We're going to come back and try to help you.
All right, Mary, you back with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I heard you have $500,000 in back taxes to the IRS. You have $50,000 in car loans, $20,000 in a home equity loan, $65,000 in student loans, and then you got $170 left on the mortgage, and the house is worth about $500 or $600.
And we also, my husband was in the hospital last year for an extended period of time, so we also have about $70,000 in medical debt.
Jesus.
Okay, so
And I'm supposed to.
And something that like is confusing here is they also have like a $20,000 home loan. I wonder what that's for. I get not giving the money that you're hoarding to the government because they don't exist, obviously. But what's that home
To
loan
be
for?
having surgery coming up, so I'm about to cancel it.
Oh, boy. Do you guys have insurance? Do you know what it's going to cost you?
Well, he didn't want to buy insurance either, so I just
You
got
guys don't have
insurance
health
in
insurance?
April. We didn't, but we do now, but it won't pay for anything until next year on the date that I signed.
Oh, my goodness. What's the
Yeah.
surgery for?
I total knee replacement.
Oh, my gosh.
And you told us that you can't work.
I've been trying to work. I was working. I'm a worship leader, and so I was at my church, and I was struggling, and I went to my pastor with this, and he talked to the elders and deacons, and I did too, and I ended up losing my position out of safety for the church.
What does that mean, safety? Was the church in harm's way?
Because, well, if I got arrested because of all of this,
So
it
even
would.
they see the writing on the wall.
Oh yes,
That's crazy. That's so crazy that the church can fire you over some financial issues that you have in your personal life because of what? The idea of that the bad reputation is getting back to the church? Like maybe if a business did it. I'm just wondering, like, would I be okay if a business did it? I wouldn't be okay. I also could maybe see a world where you would fire like a financial advisor for having a lot of debt, but like what's she doing at the church? You know what I mean? Is she's a financial advisor there, or are they just trying to distance himself?
and they were talking with him too. I told him I required him to
Church counseling.
start talking with an elder or find someone who's a mentor who knows the word that he could talk to about these things that he believes. And he did finally agree to go to counseling with me, but he's not talking to anybody. He doesn't agree with them. He
course
thinks they all held him accountable in a meeting. He even said, he doesn't believe this, but he said that he thought I was being unfaithful because I didn't agree with him, and that he had the
He
right
did
to
believe
divorce
it.
me.
Listen. He for sure believed it. He was getting pushback. He didn't want her in his life because he didn't want pushback for stupid ideas. And for some reason, this clown cannot understand that prison is in the cards. And guess what? It's a full house, baby. You're taking everyone in that house over to the pen. But seriously, though, these people are the same people who say never go to marriage counseling. You'll be blamed for everything. Women get everything in divorce. Women blah blah blah. Women blah 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 blah. Well, you know what? In this case, I think we saw the woman being smarter than the man. Because this guy is living in Looney Tunes town. He's very delusional. He's a very sick man. And I just think it's absolutely crazy that this guy has his back against the wall and he still has the ammo to blame everyone else. Very incredible. Very brave man.
According to what Paul said.
What is keeping you
And-
guys together at this point?
By the way, again, Bible justification. Let's see. Can we find something about this? Paul. Was his name Saul? Justification for divorce. So this is what this guy's saying. Corinthians 7:12-15 is the abandonment of a believer by an unbelieving spouse. You know what? Maybe he's got a point. She's not being a ride or die. She's not, I mean, thank God she's not being a ride or die, right? Or else they would literally die. But, you know, maybe if an unbeliever leaves a marriage, the believer is allowed to accept the divorce. She's unbelieving pretty hard about this whole sovereign citizen situation. Is this one of those like F around, find out situations for this guy? Let's see. If the unbeliever is willing to stay, which she is, the believer should not initiate divorce. As the believer sanctifies the house. Does sanctify mean that he's keeping the spirit of the sovereign citizen in the household? Damn. Wow. 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 Okay. So, does this have to believe in God? Let them go as God. Is unbeliever in context to the belief of God. The justification is not based on the unbelief itself, but rather on the willing or willful desertion or abandonment of the marriage by the unbelieving spouse because the conflict caused by the believer's faith in God. Okay, well then it doesn't count. This guy's just doing what every other Christian does. Ain't no love like Christian hate, baby.
Well, I know he loves me, and I know that he's working at it, and I do love him. We've been together for 30 years. And
Okay, but none
I
of
know
that
that God
actually
can do
shows that
anything.
he loves you.
Yeah, I don't see a guy who loves you.
No.
If
No,
they
no,
came,
no. And it's not just love, it's also like respect. He doesn't care about this lady at all. He thinks she's stupid, and he has thought she was stupid by his constant disregard. Embarrassing.
came and repoed my wife's car, put me on the street, and made me homeless because my wife said I don't want to pay bills. I don't know how that's love. A love requires action.
Right.
And he's taking, and this kind of comes with that whole thing where he gets to like sleep in the bed, but also sleep in his crazy world. He gets no sacrifice. This money has to be paid one way or another. He knows that this money has to be paid out to these people. His wife is the one who's making emotional sacrifices and labor sacrifices, you know. So, with my wife, I try to mitigate. I'm stupid, so as a stupid person, I put a lot of stupid problems on her plate. But I try to mitigate those stupid problems, and this guy is just going out of his way to push stupid problems. It's quite sad, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Mary, I didn't
Well,
plan
he said
to.
that I could take care of the finances. So he said, I'll
What does he
earn it,
make?
and you can take care of it.
Well, but if he's spending it, Mary, you already said that he's been spending it. So
He needs to lose access to any money in this household.
Well, at this point, he's not spending because I'm controlling the finances, and he's agreed to ask me before he buys anything. But he wouldn't be able to even if he wanted to because of the way our debt is now.
Yeah, you guys
he also
can't make
has-
minimum
I forgot
payments on any of this.
$30,000 in contract labor. That's another
I
debt.
can't even.
He should not be running his own business.
Right.
What does he make?
How's that, Dad?
Close to $300 a year.
That's crazy.
So there's some good
Sometimes
news
more.
in all of this mess. He's got a great shovel that if you take control of, we can clean this mess up. And if
That's
I
what
were
I'm
you
trying
guys,
to do.
can I just throw out a plan and see how you like it?
Yeah.
The number
absolutely.
one debt to focus on right now is that IRS debt. Pay
That's
these
what I'm
back
doing,
taxes.
yes.
So that's what I would focus on first. followed by all this consumer debt. I wouldn't worry about the mortgage right now. In fact, I would consider selling the house and renting to clean up this mess faster.
Really?
Yes.
'Cause-
Sounds crazy, but like, if you can't afford the amount of crushing debt that a house would put on you, renting's actually great. Renting is just a stable, constant bill. And with their house having what, 180,000 worth of debt, and it's possibly worth $500 to $600,000, I mean, it could really be a smart play, and they would have enough money for, say, a year's worth of rent, cutting down a lot of that debt, getting that house off their back, $300,000 a year take home. I assume that's what you meant, take home. It shouldn't be that hard of a hole to dig out of. And by the way, they could just rent a storage space as well. Like, this could be a very minor hiccup if the husband plays ball.
You have over $200,000 in consumer debt alone. You have $500,000 to the IRS, and then you have the $170,000 mortgage. So we're approaching $1 million in debt.
Yeah. And Mary,
Right.
the IRS is not going to play around. This guy has already put you guys in a very precarious situation. I think the church was wrong to let you go, but the church was scared out of their mind. And honestly,
Yeah.
I'm
Justified.
scared for you. And I one more conspiracy Facebook post that your husband clicks on, and he goes dark on all this again, and you're going down with him. And this guy's gone to
I told him I would
counseling.
leave him if he did that.
You what?
I told him I would leave if he did that.
Yep.
And she's going to leave not on the 2nd, not on the 3rd, not on the 4th, not on the 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, whoa, 1000. No, I'm kidding. 1,000. She's going to leave when they're homeless. She's going to leave after all the damage was done. She could have jumped off, had a terrible flight, and then landed, but she's going to leave once the plane already crashed, and maybe the husband doesn't even want her anymore. It's so sad. It's so sad how some of these ride or dies go. Because she's a ride or die. She's a real bomb lady.
Yeah, but it's too late. If he takes you down with him, and then you go, well, that's the final straw.
Then you would
Now's
be the
the
fool
time
too.
to leave him
Yep.
until he changes. He has been confronted by pastoral staff. He's been confronted by a counselor, and when
Sheriffs.
confronted and sheriffs.
He
and when he's
doesn't
been
want her.
confronted, he comes up with some crazy idea that you're cheating on him. You're the best woman in the world. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
most women would have long since left this clown.
Yeah.
And I know you love him, and I'm not trying to be derogatory, but I'm telling you as a stranger who you called to ask my
That's my
opinion,
husband,
this
so
is beyond
watch your mouth.
bananas.
You're in an unsafe situation.
You are very unsafe.
By the way, how crazy is it that these Christians, and I know I said a lot of bad things about Christians, but these guys are really concerned for her. Because it's a scary story. And I assume that this guy was right. This guy right here, Mr. Handsome Haircut. We get it, okay? You work out. This guy doesn't. Actually, this guy might. He might have one of those super Hulk bodies. The church probably was scared because this is a terrifying situation. So, I get it. And you would always hope that the church would be there. That's probably like the big thing that came from the baby formula TikTok situation when the government was shut down and Snap was being threatened. I actually don't know the status of Snap. As I understand, Snap was going to be heavily reduced regardless. This lady, she called churches, and it was only the mosques that were giving food. And then there were some other churches, Catholic churches, I believe, that were giving food. And it's like, you know what? Like, we've been told our whole time, if you are ever lost, turn to the church. And then the church throws this lady on her bottom at her weakest time. It's really, like, it's sad. It really is sad because, it's her support system. Everyone in the church knew about how much of a monster her husband was, and her support system threw her out. It's kind of heartbreaking.
And he could say he loves you, but this is not the act of love.
No, I know, and that's why I called you, because I don't want to go to jail, but I didn't know he was doing this.
I know you didn't, and at this point, I think you can prove that you didn't. And I love that you have control of the finances, but I would be completely making myself independent. George, listen, Mary, in the next few minutes,
Like, they're straight up advocating for a divorce right now. And, there's going to be people who are like, oh, 80% of women initiate divorces. Come on. Can we only say 79% with these crazy psychos out here? These sovereign citizen divorces.
I want you to pay attention to what George says, because you need to get independent of your husband right now. Financially first.
I mean, that's crazy.
And I would put the ultimatum down that this dude does massive life change and proves it to you in some very specific ways before you ever even talk to this guy again. That's how serious I think this is. George, I want her to protect herself financially. What would you do if she was your mom? What would you do?
I would get your name off of anything he's connected to and make sure that everything is under your control and that he can cause no further damage. I would freeze all of his credit so that he can't go into debt even if he wanted to behind your back.
Yep, it's good.
You can freeze his credit with all 3 credit bureaus. And I'm going to gift you a session with a financial coach because the depth of your situation is far beyond what we can cover on a Ramsey Show call. And I want to make sure that we can serve you well.
We want to help.
And help you take the right next step. So we're going to gift that to you. It's free. It's on us to get on a financial coaching call with someone to walk you through this for what what your specific area is. There's a lot of logistics here to walk through.
Life raft tour.
But I do think that it's probably wise for you guys to sell this house.
I agree.
And maybe you go live on your own and rent somewhere.
I agree.
Could you imagine the stress of being under constant financial fear? Bro, that would just destroy your body. Like, I wonder if her knee went out because her husband's so crazy. Oh, man, you think this lady in the past 5 years hasn't been able to put her shoulders down and relax? Oh, my goodness. This poor woman.
Don't know what that looks like financially for you with his income and you not having one. That's going to be difficult. But cleaning up the IRS debt is A1. Then I would do the debt snowball for the rest of these debts, focus on the smallest balances first, knock them out, and freeing up a payment along the way. And you'll knock out the mortgage by selling the house, and it'll probably leave you with about $300,000 in profits that you can use to knock out over half of this IRS debt.
And that's lowballing.
Yeah.
I'd go to your dad. I'd go to some family right now. You need to be around some safe people.
I'd probably talk to an attorney and figure out what your rights are, and if if you're the quote innocent spouse in the situation, will you be absolved of whatever crimes he's committed? I don't know.
Yeah. Is that who I would talk to about getting my name off of things?
Well, your name off of things would be refinancing. If your name is on there, I don't know that they'll just remove your name. But you can contact every lender that's out there that has his name on it and see if you can get out of it and say, listen, things that you weren't a part of, if he went and took any of these debts out behind your back, I don't know. There's so much here to unpack.
It's hard because, like, you look at student loans, and if your parents co-sign and you don't pay, they're paying. It doesn't matter. But, these are businesses. They have a lot more flexibility.
So sorry you're going through this. And right now, I'm more concerned about your safety than anything else right now.
Yeah.
Sam.
Hang on the line, Mary. We're going to get you connected to a financial coach that can walk with you on this. And I'm so sorry. But you got to fight for you right now with everything you...
Zander Insurance. I love that place. Everyone's talking about hanging out over at Zander Insurance after work, whatever. This is sad. This is sad reality that some people have to look at. Some people are financially tied to fools. Just ask my wife. And what happens is, it becomes a weapon. And their incompetence, there's weaponized incompetence, and then there's whatever this show is. Absolutely embarrassing. I feel so bad for this woman. By the way, going back. what I was talking about. Some people will use longer words to pronounce words that they can't pronounce the shorter version of. So, like, some people might say, this person is nationalistic. They'll keep throwing that. Oh, and it's like, well, you know what? You could just say this person is a nationalist. A little bit different than that faux pas that I had prior. But sometimes people have this big word that they memorize and they aren't really too flexible with it, and it affects how they pronounce the smaller word. And that's my excuse. And really, I'm smart, so. Okay. Thank you guys for joining.